Queen Zara had once ruled beside her husband for 40 long years. She remembered the days when people bowed before her, when her voice could change the fate of entire worlds. Her skin used to glow with a beautiful blue light that made everyone stop and stare. Those days felt like a distant dream now. The alien queen sat alone in a broken shelter on a cold, empty moon. Her hands shook as she tried to fix the damaged walls around her. The metal was rusty and old, and every time she touched it, pieces would fall off. She had been the most powerful woman in the galaxy just 3 months ago. Now, she couldn't even keep the wind from blowing through the cracks in her tiny home. King Theron had thrown her away like garbage. After 4 decades of marriage, after fighting wars together, after building an empire that stretched across 12 planets, he decided she was too old. Her once glowing skin had grown dim. Her hair, which used to shine like starlight, now looked gray and lifeless. The worst part was that she had never given him a son. 3 daughters, all brave and smart, but no male heir to carry his name. Guards had come for her in the middle of the night. They didn't even let her pack her things properly. They just grabbed her arms and dragged her to a small ship. She tried to fight back, but she was weak from months of being ignored and barely fed. The king had slowly poisoned her food to make her sick, though she only figured this out too late. They dropped her on this forgotten moon with nothing but a few broken tools and some stale food. The place had been a mining colony once, but now it was just empty buildings and rusty machines. The air was thin and cold, and she had to wear a breathing mask just to survive. The gravity was different too, making her feel heavy and clumsy. For the first week, she had hope. She thought maybe one of her daughters would come looking for her. Or perhaps her old friends from the royal court would realize what had happened and help her escape. But as days turned into weeks, she understood the truth. Nobody was coming. The king had made sure of that. Every morning she would wake up with terrible pain in her joints. The cold made everything worse, and she had no medicine to help her feel better. She spent her days trying to fix the heating system, but she was no engineer. She was a queen, trained in politics and warfare, not in fixing broken machines. The food ran out after 2 weeks. She had to search through the abandoned buildings, looking for anything to eat. Sometimes she found old emergency rations left behind by the miners. It tasted awful and made her stomach hurt, but they kept her alive. She also found some water recycling equipment, but it only worked sometimes. One day, while climbing up to fix a solar panel, she slipped and fell. The pain in her leg was unbearable. She could tell something was broken, but she had no way to treat it properly. She tore strips from her old royal dress to make a bandage, but the wound kept bleeding. Soon it started to smell bad, and she knew infection was setting in. The nights were the hardest. She would lie awake, listening to the wind howling outside, and think about her life. She remembered her wedding day, when she was young and beautiful and believed love could last forever. She thought about her daughters, wondering if they even missed her. Did they know what their father had done? Or did they think she had just disappeared? Her telepathic powers, which once let her read minds across great distances, were almost gone now. The stress and sadness had drained them away. She could barely sense the small creatures that lived in the caves below. This made her feel even more alone and helpless. The shelter's life support system was failing too. The machine that cleaned the air made strange noises and sometimes stopped working completely. She would panic during these moments, gasping for breath and wondering if this was how she would die. The temperature control had broken days ago, so she wrapped herself in whatever fabric she could find. 3 days before her rescue, a radiation storm hit the moon. The sky turned an angry red color, and dangerous energy waves swept across the surface. She huddled in the deepest part of her shelter, but the storm damaged her remaining equipment. The water purifier stopped working, and the communication device she had been trying to repair was completely destroyed. After the storm passed, she realized she was truly trapped. No way to call for help, no way to get clean water, and her infected leg was getting worse by the hour. She started having fever dreams where she saw her husband laughing at her suffering. Sometimes she imagined her daughters calling her name, but when she woke up, there was only silence. On her last night before being found, she crawled outside to look at the stars. The two moons above cast strange shadows on the ground. She remembered when she and Theron used to watch stars together. During their early years of marriage, back then he would hold her hand and promise they would explore the galaxy together. Now those same stars felt like cold, distant witnesses to her misery. She made peace with dying that night. She had lived a full life, even if it ended badly. She had been a mother, a queen, and a warrior. Maybe that was enough. As she lay there, getting weaker by the hour, she didn't know that help was coming. She had no idea that a human soldier was already on his way to change her life forever. Morning before her rescue, she could barely move. The fever made everything blurry and confusing. She whispered goodbye to her daughters, even though they couldn't hear her. She told them she was sorry for not being stronger, for not fighting harder against their father's cruelty. Then she closed her eyes and waited for the end to come. But sometimes, when everything seems hopeless, unexpected miracles happen. And for Queen Zara, that miracle was about to arrive in the form of a kind human soldier who would see past her alien appearance and recognize her suffering. Little did she know that her greatest adventure was about to begin, not end. Sergeant Cole never expected to find anything important on this mission. He was supposed to check out some weird energy readings that Earth's satellites had picked up from this dead moon. His team thought it would be another boring day of looking at old mining equipment and writing reports that nobody would ever read. The human soldier had been doing these kinds of missions for 8 years now. He was 34 years old, tired of war, and really good at fixing people when they got hurt. That's why his squad always brought him along. Cole could patch up almost anyone, even in the worst situations. He had steady hands and a calm mind, which made him perfect for medical work. His team landed their small ship near the abandoned mining colony just as the sun was setting. The place looked dead and empty, just like they expected. Broken buildings scattered everywhere, old machines covered in dust, and no signs of life. But Cole's equipment was showing energy readings that didn't match anything they knew about. Place gives me the creeps, said Rodriguez, his teammate. She was checking her weapon and looking around nervously. Why would anyone send signals from here? Maybe it's just old equipment acting up, replied Thompson, the team's technical expert. He was scanning the area with his tablet, trying to figure out where the signals were coming from, but Cole felt something different. Had learned to trust his instincts over the years. Something about this place felt wrong, like there was pain. Nearby, he couldn't explain it, but he had always been sensitive to suffering. That's what made him such a good medic. They split up to cover more ground. Cole took the eastern section, where the signals seemed strongest. He walked carefully through the ruins, his medical kit bouncing against his leg with each step. Buildings here were in worse shape than the others, with holes in the walls and broken windows everywhere. That's when he saw the faint light coming from a small shelter. It was barely visible, just a tiny glow through a crack in the wall. Cole moved closer, his hand automatically reaching for his first aid supplies. Years of training told him that light meant someone was alive. He pushed open the damaged door and stepped inside. The smell hit him first: infection, unwashed bodies, and fear. Then he saw her, lying on a makeshift bed, made from old mining clothes. Even though she was clearly an alien, Cole's medic instincts kicked in immediately. The woman looked terrible. Her skin, which should have been glowing blue according to his training files, was dull and gray. Her breathing was shallow and rapid. One of her legs was badly swollen and showed clear signs of infection. She was unconscious. But her face was twisted in pain. Cole had seen aliens before during diplomatic meetings, but never one in such bad condition. He could tell she had once been important. Her clothes were made from expensive fabric, even though they were now torn and dirty. Strange jewelry hung around her neck, the kind that royalty might wear. "Command, this is Cole," he spoke into his radio. "I've found a survivor, alien female, severely injured, requesting immediate medical consultation." But as he looked at her more closely, something made him pause. There were old scars on her arms that looked like they came from restraints. Her hair had been roughly cut, like someone had chopped it off in anger. And the way she was positioned suggested she had been thrown here, not placed carefully. This wasn't just any alien in trouble. This was someone who had been hurt on purpose, abandoned to die alone. Cole's team arrived within minutes. Rodriguez immediately raised her weapon when she saw the alien woman, but Cole stepped between them. "She's not dangerous," he said firmly. "Look at her condition. She's dying." Thompson was busy taking readings with his equipment. "The energy signatures are coming from her jewelry," he reported. "Some kind of advanced technology, but it's mostly powered down. I need to report this." Immediately, Rodriguez said, "Command will want to know about any alien contact." But Cole was already kneeling beside the woman, checking her pulse and examining her wounds. His medical training took over completely. He had sworn an oath to help anyone who was suffering, regardless of what species they were. "Her leg is badly infected," he said, opening his medical kit. "If we don't treat this soon, she'll die from blood poisoning." The alien woman's eyes suddenly opened. They were a beautiful golden color, but filled with terror. She saw Cole's uniform and immediately tried to crawl away, despite her pain. She was mumbling something in her own language, but Cole caught a few words in broken English. Quotes. "Please, ... No hurt ... Already dying." Cole raised his hands slowly, showing he had no weapons. "It's okay," he said in the gentlest voice he could manage. "I'm a medic. I want to help you." She stared at him with those golden eyes, trying to figure out if he was telling the truth. Cole could see intelligence there, despite her fever and pain. This was someone who had once been powerful, who had made important decisions. Now she was reduced to begging for mercy. "My name is Cole," he said, pointing to himself. "I fix people when they're hurt. Can you understand me?" She nodded slowly, then whispered something that sounded like Zara. Cole assumed that was her name. "Okay, Zara, I'm going to help you feel better, but I need you to trust me." Rodriguez was getting impatient. "Cole, we don't have time for this. Command is expecting a report." But Cole had made his decision. He could see that Zara had been through something terrible, something that reminded him of the war refugees he had treated back on Earth. The look in her eyes was the same, desperate, broken, but still holding on to a tiny bit of hope. "Give me 10 minutes, he told his team. "Let me at least stop the infection from getting worse." As he worked, cleaning her wounds and applying medicine, Zara watched him carefully. She seemed amazed that someone was being gentle with her. When he bandaged her leg, she actually smiled a little, the first time her face had shown anything but pain. "Thank you," she whispered in English. And Cole could tell those words meant everything to her. That's when he realized he couldn't just hand her over to command. Whatever had happened to her, whoever had left her here to die, she deserved better than becoming a political prisoner or a test subject. She deserved to be treated like a person, not a problem to be solved. But convincing his team to go along with that plan would be the hardest mission of his career. Cole made the most dangerous decision of his military career that day. Instead of reporting Zara immediately, he told his team they needed to move her to a safer location first. He convinced Rodriguez and Thompson that the broken shelter was too exposed and that they should take her somewhere more secure before calling command. "There's an old research station about 2 miles from here," Cole explained to his team. "We found it last year during the geological survey. It has better facilities and power systems. If we're going to question her properly, we need her conscious and stable." Thompson looked suspicious. "Since when do we provide medical care to aliens before reporting them?" "Since we became professionals," Cole replied firmly. "Dead aliens can't give us any useful information." The truth was, Cole couldn't stop thinking about the terror in Zara's eyes. Something terrible had happened to her, and his instincts told him that handing her over to military authorities right away would be a huge mistake. She needed time to heal, both physically and emotionally. They carefully moved Zara to the research station using a portable stretcher. The journey was difficult because she was so weak, but Cole monitored her condition every step of the way. The station was built into a natural cave system, which helped regulate the temperature and provided protection from radiation storms. The place had been abandoned for 3 years, but the geothermal power source still worked perfectly. Able to set up a proper medical area using equipment they found in storage, there were even some basic surgical tools and medicine supplies left behind by the previous research team. For the first few days, Zara barely spoke. She would watch Cole with those golden eyes, following his every movement as he changed her bandages and gave her medicine. She seemed amazed that someone was taking care of her without hurting her. Sometimes she would flinch when he moved too, quickly, like she expected to be hit. Cole's team was getting restless. Rodriguez kept asking when they were going to report the alien contact, and Thompson was worried about getting in trouble for the delay. But Cole managed to convince them that gathering intelligence first was the smart thing to do. Look at her jewelry and clothes, he pointed out. This isn't just any alien. She was obviously important. If we can find out who she is and what happened to her, we might learn something valuable. Slowly, Zara began to trust Cole. She would try to communicate with him, mixing her own language with broken English. She told him her name was Queen Zara and that she had been married to a king. When she talked about her husband, her whole body would tense up with fear and anger. He, throw me away, she said one day, pointing to her gray hair. Too old. Not beautiful anymore. Cole felt his heart break hearing those words. He had treated many abuse victims during his career, and he recognized the signs. Someone who should have protected her had instead destroyed her life as the weeks passed. Zara's English improved quickly. She was clearly very intelligent, and Cole enjoyed their conversations. She would tell him about her home planet, about the 3 daughters she missed terribly, and about the years when she had been happy. I was good queen, she said proudly. Help my people, make fair laws, protect the weak. But when I get old, husbands say I am useless. Cole shared some of his own story, too. He told her about growing up on Earth, about losing his parents in the resource wars, and about why he became a medic. Zara listened carefully to everything he said, and he could see her respect for him growing. You have good heart, she told him one day. You save people, even when they different from you. The research station had a small hydroponic garden that the previous team had left behind. Cole managed to get it working again, and Zara was fascinated by the earth plants. She helped him tend to the tomatoes and lettuce, and her alien knowledge of plant biology actually improved their crop yield. On my world, we have gardens that float in the air, she explained, gently touching a tomato plant. But these earth plants are stronger. They survive in harsh conditions. Cole realized she was talking about herself too. Despite everything that had happened to her, Zara was surviving and slowly getting stronger, but their peaceful time was running out. Cole's commander was starting to ask questions about their extended mission. Rodriguez was getting nervous about the lies they were telling, and Thompson had discovered that Zara's technology was far more advanced than anything Earth had seen before. Cole, we can't keep this secret much longer, Rodriguez warned him. If Command finds out we've been hiding an alien contact, we'll all be court-martialed. Meanwhile, Zara was becoming more worried about her safety. She had started having nightmares about her husband's soldiers finding her. During one particularly bad dream, she woke up screaming and grabbed Cole's arm. They will come for me, she whispered, her eyes wide with terror. Theron will not let me live. I know too many secrets. Cole tried to reassure her, but deep down, he knew she was probably right. If her husband had thrown her away once, he wouldn't hesitate to finish the job if he discovered she was still alive. The situation became even more complicated when Zara revealed the true extent of her knowledge. She had been the king's chief military advisor for decades. She knew detailed information about alien defense systems, trade routes, and political alliances. I can help your people, she told Cole. I know things that could prevent wars, save lives. But if my husband finds me, all that knowledge dies with me. Cole realized that Zara wasn't just a refugee who needed help. She was potentially the most valuable intelligence asset Earth had ever encountered. But she was also a person who had suffered terrible abuse and deserved to be treated with dignity and respect. The peaceful weeks at the research station had given both of them something precious. Cole had found a sense of purpose beyond just following orders, and Zara had discovered that kindness still existed in the universe. They had become unlikely friends, beings from different worlds who understood each other's pain. But their sanctuary was about to be shattered. Unknown to them, King Theron's spies had been searching for any trace of his missing wife. And Cole's own military was starting to investigate his team's suspicious behavior. The storm was coming, and both Cole and Zara would soon have to decide how far they were willing to go to protect each other. The peaceful days at the research station came to an abrupt end when Zara woke up screaming one night. She had been having the same nightmare for 3 days straight, and each time it felt more real. In her dreams, she could see her husbands, soldiers getting closer, following a trail that would lead them straight to her hiding place. "They know I'm alive," she told Cole, her hand shaking as she tried to drink some water. "I can feel them searching." Theron has ways of tracking people that your technology can't detect. Cole wanted to believe she was just being paranoid, but something in her voice convinced him otherwise. Zara had been a queen for 40 years. She knew how these things worked, how power moved in the shadows, how enemies thought and planned. That same morning, Cole received a message from his commander that made his blood run cold. Colonel Hayes wanted a full report on their extended mission within 24 hours, no more delays, no more excuses. The military had started asking questions about why his team had been silent for so long. "We're running out of time," Rodriguez said, pacing around the small command center. They had set up, "If we don't report this soon, we'll all be in serious trouble." Thompson was equally worried. "Cole, I know you want to help her, but we can't protect her if we're all in military prison." But Cole had made his decision weeks ago. He wasn't going to abandon Zara now, not when she was finally starting to heal from everything that had happened to her. She had begun to smile again, to laugh at his jokes, to talk about her daughters with love instead of just sadness. "Give me one more day," he asked his team. "Let me figure out a way to keep her safe while we follow proper procedures." What Cole didn't know was that Zara had been keeping a secret from him. She hadn't just been a queen who looked pretty and attended ceremonies. She had been King Theron's most trusted military advisor, the person who knew every detail about their empire's defenses and weaknesses. "Cole," she said that evening, as they sat together in the station's small garden area, "I need to tell you something important, something that changes everything." She explained that she had helped plan every major military operation for the past 20 years. She knew the locations of secret bases, the passwords for communication systems, and the names of spies working throughout the galaxy. In the wrong hands, this information could start wars or prevent them. "Your Earth leaders would find this very valuable," she said carefully. "Thought sharing it would make me a traitor to my own people. They would hunt me forever, never stop trying to eliminate me." Cole felt overwhelmed. He had thought he was just helping an abused woman escape from her cruel husband. He realized he was protecting one of the most valuable intelligence assets in the galaxy. Before he could fully process this revelation, their world exploded into chaos. The attack came at dawn. Zara's nightmares had been right. King Theron's hunters had found them. 5 alien soldiers in advanced armor burst through the station's main entrance, their weapons glowing with deadly energy. "Surrender the traitor queen," their leader commanded. In heavily accented English, "King Theron offers mercy to any humans who step aside." Cole's military training kicked in instantly. He grabbed his weapon and dove behind a console, pulling Zara down with him. Rodriguez and Thompson took positions on either side of the room, their hearts pounding as they faced technology far beyond anything they had trained for. "You cannot win this fight," the alien leader continued. "We have tracked her across 3 star systems. There is nowhere left for her to run." But Cole wasn't about to give up. He had spent weeks getting to know Zara, learning about her kindness, her intelligence, her love for her daughters. She wasn't just some political asset to him anymore. She was his friend, and he would protect her with his life. The battle that followed was unlike anything Cole had ever experienced. The alien weapons could burn through solid metal, but human tactics and knowledge of the station's layout gave them some advantages. Cole used his medical training to treat wounds while continuing to fight, keeping his team functional under impossible circumstances. Zara surprised everyone by revealing that she still remembered her old combat skills. Despite being weak from her recent injuries, she managed to activate some of the station's automated defenses using her knowledge of similar technology. "The ventilation shafts," she whispered to Cole during a brief break in the fighting. "They lead to the old mining tunnels. We can escape that way." But escape meant leaving behind everything they had built together. The garden where they had talked for hours, The medical bay where Cole had saved her life? The small room where she had finally felt safe enough to sleep without nightmares as they crawled through the narrow tunnels? Cole could hear the alien soldiers destroying the station. Behind them. They were angry about losing their target, and they were taking that anger out on everything Cole and Zara had created together. "I'm sorry," Zara whispered as they moved through the darkness. "This is all my fault. You should have reported me." "Immediately." "Don't you dare apologize," Cole replied firmly. "You didn't ask for any of this. Your husband is the one who caused all this pain." They emerged from the tunnels near the old mining equipment, but their relief was short-lived. Cole's radio crackled to life with a message from Colonel Hayes. Human forces were also converging on their location, drawn by the energy signatures from the alien attack. Cole responded immediately. "We have reports of unauthorized alien contact and weapons fire. Your team is ordered to surrender for debriefing." "We're trapped between two forces, both of which saw Zara as either a prize to be claimed or a threat to be eliminated." Cole realized that the peaceful life they had built together was over forever. From now on, they would always be running, always looking over their shoulders, always wondering who they could trust. But as he looked at Zara's determined face and the dim light of the mining tunnel, Cole knew he had made the right choice. Some things were worth fighting for, even when the odds seemed impossible. Some friendships were worth protecting, even when the whole galaxy seemed to be against you. The final confrontation was coming, and Cole was ready to face whatever consequences awaited them. He had found something worth protecting, and he wasn't going to let anyone take it away from him. The final showdown happened at the old communication tower on the highest point of the moon. Cole and Zara had been running for hours, dodging both alien hunters and human military forces. They were exhausted, hurt, and almost out of options. But Cole had one last desperate plan. "If I can get to that communication array," he told Zara as they hid behind some broken machinery, "I can contact Earth directly. Maybe I can convince them that you're worth protecting." Zara shook her head, her golden eyes filled with sadness. "They will never trust me, Cole. I am the enemy to them. If I help Earth, my own people will hunt me until the day I die. Then, we'll figure it out together," Cole replied, checking his weapon. "I'm not giving up on you now." The climb to the communication tower was dangerous. Alien soldiers were closing in from one side, while human forces approached from the other. Cole could hear radio chatter from his own people, talking about capturing the hostile alien contact and bringing her back for questioning. When they reached the tower, Zara made a decision that surprised Cole completely. Instead of hiding while he tried to call for help, she walked straight to the communication console and began working with the alien technology. "What are you doing?" Cole asked, keeping watch for approaching enemies. "Something I should have done?" "Long ago," Zara replied, her fingers moving quickly over the controls. "I'm going to send everything I know about King Theron's military to your Earth leaders. Every secret, every weakness, every hidden base location." Cole realized what this meant. By sharing this information, Zara would be betraying her own species. She would never be able to go home again, never see her daughters, never reclaim her old life. She would be branded as a traitor forever. "You don't have to do this," he said softly. "We can find another way." "Yes, I do," Zara said firmly. "People showed me kindness when my own people threw me away. You saved my life when everyone else wanted me dead. This is how I can repay that debt." The transmission began just as the first alien soldiers reached the tower. Their leader, Commander Kess, was furious when he saw what Zara was doing. "Stop the transmission, traitor queen," shouted, raising his weapon. "You will not dishonor our people with your cowardice." Cole stepped between them, his own weapon ready. "She's not your property anymore. She's making her own choices." The battle at the communication tower was intense, but brief. Cole's military training helped him hold off the alien soldiers long enough for Zara to complete most of her transmission. But Commander Kess managed to wound her badly before Cole could stop him. Zara collapsed against the communication console, blood flowing from a deep cut in her side. Cole immediately went to work trying to save her life, using every medical skill he had learned over the years. "Did the transmission go through?" she whispered weakly. Cole checked the console. "Most of it, yes. Earth has received about 80% of the data." Just then, human forces arrived at the tower. Colonel Hayes and a full squad of soldiers surrounded the area, their weapons pointed at both Cole and Zara. "Sergeant Cole, step away from the alien immediately," the colonel ordered. "We're under arrest for violation of first contact protocols and failure to report alien contact." "Sir, she's badly injured," Cole replied, not moving from Zara's side. "She needs immediate medical attention." "That alien is now a prisoner of Earth's Defense Command," Hayes said coldly. "Our medical team will handle her treatment." But Cole had learned something important during his weeks with Zara. Sometimes doing the right thing meant disobeying orders. Sometimes being a good soldier meant being a good person first. "No, sir," he said quietly. "I won't abandon her now." What happened next surprised everyone. Dr. Chen, the team's medical specialist, stepped forward and knelt beside Zara. She had been studying the medical data that Cole had been secretly sending back to Earth, claiming it was theoretical research. "About alien biology, I can save her," Dr. Chen said. "The research data suggests that combining human and alien medical techniques might work." Colonel Hayes was about to refuse, but then his communication device crackled with a message from Earth's command. The intelligence that Zara had transmitted was already proving incredibly valuable. Earth's leaders wanted her kept alive and protected. The medical procedure that saved Zara's life took 12 hours. Cole stayed by her side the entire time, refusing to leave even when ordered to report for debriefing. When she finally woke up, the first thing she saw was his worried face looking down at her. "Am I still alive?" she asked weakly. "Very much so," Cole smiled. "And it looks like you're going to stay that way." 6 months later, Zara had a new life that she never could have imagined. Earth's government granted her asylum in exchange for her continued cooperation as a cultural and military advisor. She lived in a comfortable facility that was part home, part research center, part diplomatic mission. Cole had left active military duty to become her official liaison and protector. His decision to help her, once seen as a dangerous violation of protocol, is now viewed as brilliant intelligence work that had prevented potential conflicts and opened new diplomatic possibilities. Zara spent her days working with Earth's leaders, sharing her knowledge about alien cultures and helping to prevent misunderstandings that could lead to war. She also began writing her memoirs, with Cole's help, creating the first comprehensive guide to alien politics and society that humans had ever possessed. But the best part of her new life was much simpler. She had found friendship, purpose, and hope again. Every morning, she would tend to the garden that Cole had helped her create at the facility. The plants were a mixture of Earth and alien species, growing together in ways that shouldn't have worked but somehow did. "You know what I learned from all this?" she told Cole one day as they watched the sunset through the garden's transparent dome. "What's that?" he asked. "Sometimes losing everything is the only way to find what really matters," she said. "I thought my life was over when Theron threw me away. But it was really just beginning." Cole nodded, understanding exactly what she meant. He had thought he was just a soldier following orders. But helping Zara had taught him that the most important battles aren't always fought with weapons. Sometimes they're fought with compassion, courage, and the willingness to do what's right, even when it's difficult. As they sat together in their garden, watching alien flowers bloom under an Earth sky, both of them knew they had found something precious. They had found friendship that crossed the boundaries of species, understanding that bridged different worlds, hope that could survive even the darkest times. Zara's story had begun with abandonment and despair, but it ended with purpose, dignity, and the knowledge that kindness could triumph over cruelty, no matter how far apart the stars might be.